All right, welcome everyone to Escapist Corner. This time we have a different setup. We have a new series called Team Escapist, where we necessarily not talk to other guests than our friends or people at the box, or it might just be a talk between coaches and or maybe even a monologue, who knows. So today we have for our new format something that we prepared, that Claire prepared here for the holiday seasons. It's called How to Survive the Holidays and Still Enjoy Them. We're gonna bone this one through, I guess, and you're gonna probably find this on audio, you're gonna find this on video, and you're gonna find this in written form everywhere. This is a part of a small strategy we're working on, where we want to be a bit everywhere, so everyone can, so omnipresent, so everyone can see and listen to us. Not because we think we're the best in the world, but we just noticed that there is a lot of people that want to hear us, and they say, I didn't know you published anything, and we're like, we publish on every channel, and and still they kind of miss it, so we have to be even more productive. So today Gerardo's here.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Claire is here.
Hi.
So let's start with you, Claire. Who are you? Why are you here?
I am a student on a pause from my engineering studies, and I'm doing some work here at Escapist and really interested in performance, but nutrition and wellness and longevity and the balance of all of those, and how we can basically feel better and live better lives.
All right. And do you feel like there's a big overlap between engineering and and health and fitness and lifestyle?
I think that in the engineering practice, there's a big disconnect from health and longevity and wellness. But I think that a different way of thinking can be applied. Coming from different sides of perspectives and different ways of thinking about things and approaching them.
Yeah. And for the viewers, listeners, you are German, but you speak quite flawless English, so...
very difficult to find in Germany.
Yeah. You actually live in the States. Did.
Yeah. People ask me where's home. I'm like, I don't know where's home, but right now home is Berlin, and I was born in Germany and then moved to the States when I was younger, and now I studied in England for 2 years. Now I'm in here in Berlin. So
back to the roots.
Yeah.
Back to the roots.
Very good.
All right. So let's go through this list.
So holiday seasons, what are the biggest challenges we find in holiday seasons? We always talk about people here at the box, we have members coming around and says, hey, I'm not going to be here, I have this dinner, I'm not going to be training that much. Which are, as you see, we see the biggest challenges that we have here, people have?
And we all struggle with them. Even you and I and Ricard and everyone, all the coaches, people in wellness, everyone struggles with these. You go to the supermarket and you're accosted with aisles full of chocolate and sweets, and it's hard for even the people who have the most willpower to resist. So I think that the change in temperature definitely plays a role.
The darkness.
For sure.
I mean, I think this list will be very helpful for a lot of people, especially that are mentally they're going into this kind of hibernation mode.
No, definitely. I mean, we had a great summer, and suddenly in no time it's dark, it's cold.
Yeah,
and
suddenly it's dark at 3:30.
Yeah, exactly. We end up classes in the morning here. It's barely sun outside, barely light. So a completely different setup from what was a couple of months ago, and people just feel a bit low. So yeah, suddenly that hot chocolate or that chocolate feels way better than it used to be.
Exactly. Comfy yourself.
Yeah.
So let's start this boat. This I don't know. Yeah. So number one, Claire, you said for the evening, you started with the evening. Schedule wind down time. What do you mean with that?
I think for me personally, that was a big thing that changed things, and I can see it in other people. Is a lot of us, we go through our day, you know, you're on, you're with people, you're interacting, you're going in the U-Bahn, you're going in the S-Bahn, you're watching TV, you're on your phone, you're on your Instagram, you're on your Facebook, and then, okay, all of a sudden you're supposed to shut off and go to bed. It's like a light switch in the head that we're supposed to turn off, and that's not how the brain works, and that's also... it makes it more difficult to get your good quality 8 hours of sleep, because you take then maybe an hour to get to sleep, and many people think that's normal. And it's like, you know, if you've properly, you know, exerted yourself in the day, but also have managed your stress, you should be able to fall asleep within, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And it's really difficult to do that if you're staring at a screen for like the minute before you go to bed. You're checking your texts the minute before you go to bed. So
I have a good tip for that. So I like to wind down by listening to podcasts, and I do it when I hit the pillow. So I'm not listening before, or sometimes I do, but really when I hit the pillow, I can set the timer for 5, 10 or 15 minutes. And sometimes I put it on 5 minutes and see if I can fall asleep before it ends.
So race against the podcast.
That sounds stressful.
Any podcast you would recommend for that?
It's not really a flattering compliment to the podcast.
Go sell it.
No, but and actually no, but because I know that I always fell asleep, and I was like always checking my phone the day after, because I wanted to listen to the podcast, and I was already like 4 episodes down the stream or something like that. And I was like, damn it. Okay, I have to pick it up again and try to search for the right episode. No, but that has at least proven to me that I usually don't have that big of a problem. Just to and that has not been the common case for me at all. So from my teenage years, so since I was 12, 13 years old, I could lay awake for hours in bed, and I just couldn't fall asleep. And I had this more or less until recent 2-3 years. Maybe it has to do with getting kids and stuff like that, but I also think it has to do with something much more important, which is what I eat. So my blood sugars, my cortisol levels and everything are very low when they're supposed to be low.
And many people aren't having regular levels of cortisol and insulin also, so that can play a role in if you're eating poorly, and then your hormonal circadian rhythm is totally out of whack, and we don't do ourselves any favors by like regularly staying up until 2-3 a.m. and then switching the next day, be in bed by 10, and then getting up and then sleeping in and then early, and that also sends your body out of whack. And
so how would be your recommendation for like a healthier evening planning? How would you go through it?
So I would say choose something that disconnects you a little bit and gets you out of your head and into your body. I think it's something that they say in yoga often, or meditation, and whether it is listening to a podcast that disconnects you from your stress in your head and your everyday life, or watching some kind of downloading Flux, which is an extension on the desktop that you can put it on your computer and it turns the screen kind of yellowish. So some people like to, watch some kind of stupid comedy show before they go to bed, okay? If you put that on, then you won't get the blue light that interferes with melatonin production. So watch that for 20 minutes, reading a book. I mean, it's old-fashioned, but seems to work for a lot of people. It's worked for a long time.
Sure.
But finding kind of like a rhythm and a trigger, it's almost like a Pavlovian response. When you do that, then you automatically, your body thinks, okay, it's time to go to bed.
Would it be like an idea to have this kind of ceremony where you, where you kind of give yourself the luxury of time to just take care of yourself?
Yeah.
And do the things that, something that you always look forward to doing in the evening, if it's reading or something like that.
Yeah.
So you find something that is really like a prize of the day.
Yeah. Like a couple yoga poses or,
thrusters or something like that.
Sure. Ready to go to bed.
So second on your list here, you talk about eating, and especially the time between breakfast and dinner.
Yeah.
And you say it should be 12 hours?
Yeah.
At most.
At minimum between breakfast.
The other way around.
Well,
At most.
So a 12-hour eating window at most, right?
Yeah.
So for the holidays, everybody's going to have a little bit of like indulgence, a little bit of something extra, something sweet, maybe something we don't eat all the time. And so taking 12 hours just to let your body digest and not have the stress of working to digest the food, but also it helps with calming inflammation, which is often the foods that we choose to eat in this time that are a little bit extra are also inflammatory, often if there's sugar or some unhealthy fats involved. So calming inflammation, and that also helps to induce, maybe in 12 hours a little more difficult, but if you can extend it to 14 hours between your dinner and your breakfast, you get into maybe a mild state of ketosis, so that can help suppress appetite a little bit, and that can definitely help around this time of year.
So how should someone plan that? We say he's going for many people go for Christmas dinners, and we say it's dinner at 8, 9 in the evening, right? So when should he eat breakfast, and what should he eat for breakfast?
So if you're going to a dinner and you're eating until late, you're eating until 9, 10, then that's where it's maybe you do 12 hours, because then it's a little bit easier, a little less stressful, and you've already eaten until late, so it's maybe a little bit more difficult for people who aren't used to going that amount of time, who are really used to late night snacking and early breakfast, to go and then break their fast at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. with start with water. That's always the first thing you start with, but you should be drinking water before you break your fast also. But before you eat your meal, drink some water, start your day off with something really protein rich, something with some healthy fats, and something with maybe veggies in it and some healthy carbohydrates.
What would be your recommendation for example, all this? I mean, we had all this confusion when people talk about healthy carbs, healthy fats. Suddenly, fat and carbs are evil.
Yeah.
So what would be your recommendation for examples of healthy fats and healthy carbs?
I would say I always go to nuts for healthy fats. That's kind of my go-to, but nuts and seeds are really great. Full-fat dairy, if you can tolerate dairy. I'm a fan of dairy. Cheese, if you're doing a more savory breakfast. Eggs. People are kind of stuck on this idea that breakfast has to be, carb-laden and pancakes and stuff that will spike your blood sugar and then leave you crashing 1-2 hours later hungry again. And me personally, I love savory breakfast. So, eggs or a piece of chicken, or if you have the time on the weekend, maybe a nice steak with some salad and some avocado, and just kind of breaking that mold of it has to be, a bowl of oatmeal or something.
Muesli.
Muesli.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of muesli in the mornings, especially.
I think that's the most common one in Germany, at least, is to have a bowl of muesli, and it's in total we talk about maybe 200-300 calories in the morning, and then they're wondering why they're so low energy and starving for lunch and everything. No, I've tried that with breaking the breakfast rule of like, okay, I can eat pork loin
Yeah.
for breakfast. And yeah, it feels amazing because you have like all the energy levels that you need. And so let's turn that the other opposite way around. So we say somebody who is going up at 5 a.m. Or even earlier in the morning, and how should he or she conduct her day, like from, we say, breakfast to dinner?
If someone's getting up super early, the first thing I would say is, if you're getting less sleep, focus on the quality of sleep. So again, not having the phone next to you and making sure that you're not texting until the minute that you fall asleep, and also not starting your day with, that's another thing that I picked up from Tim Ferriss a couple years ago, and it's changed my life, is some people, they sleep with their phone next to their bed, and in the middle of the night, they pick it up. If they wake up to go to the toilet, they pick it up, check if they have any texts, check their Instagram likes. It's like, oh my God, give yourself a little bit of a break.
I mean, very good thing is leave the phone outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
That's a very simple rule to follow, and it's a very, if you tell me you need the alarm, I can buy you an alarm.
Yeah.
I'd spend
Buy yourself for Christmas.
I spend the 10 euros that costs an alarm clock.
You know what? There was a recent study in Finland where they see that couples have less sex in the bedroom. People, I guess, usually have sex in the bedroom. So they have drawn some statistics, and they've seen that people have less sex in the bedroom right now.
Yeah, because of the phones.
They did a survey, and it's because people, when they go to bed, they bring up their phone and they, play with their phone instead of playing with each other.
Typical Joe, when you have too many kids, I buy you a telephone. Now it's like, it used to be, I can buy you a TV. Now it's like, hey, dude, I just give you a telephone. Yeah, it's makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
No, but if you're getting up at 5 a.m., I would say, depending on hunger levels, try to accustom yourself a little bit to go a little longer without eating. So if it's the first day, you have to eat after half an hour after getting up. Okay, eat something again that's, you maybe prepare it the night before. Maybe it's leftovers from the night before. That's, again, protein rich, because protein is the most satisfying macronutrient. Some kind of veggie if you can get it in there, and some fats, healthy fats. Avocado is also a great one that you can use multi situations for breakfast like stuff. So avocado mousse blended up with some almond milk and some cacao powder and maybe a little honey, and then you've got a nice fat rich side to your breakfast. If you need a carb, then also, sweet potatoes are my go-to. Sweet potatoes or squash. And
Lots of recommendations.
And so you said something about drinking water, and the first thing you do, and that's the next point on the list. So number 3, drink a glass of lemon water in the morning.
Yeah.
Why lemon?
So lemon is an alkalizer to the body. That's the main benefit to drinking a glass of lemon water in the morning. And also, if you're drinking regular water is fine also, but if you're drinking something that has a little bit of a sour thing, that's the first thing you taste, you're going to be less likely throughout the day to then have that sweet craving, because there have been a couple studies that show people who eat sweets first thing in the morning, like if you have the first thing that you drink is a cup of coffee flavored with some kind of sweetener, then that sets you up for, your taste buds are primed for the rest of the day to crave sweets. So if you can start your day with something that alkalizes you, it's good for the microbiome, it's good for the gut. It's got some vitamin C, minerals, kind of the classic detox drink every morning. But getting into that habit is really something that sets you up for success for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think that would be a good tip for me, because I generally don't drink that much water during the day. So by at least kind of putting that first thing in the morning might help out to get some more not to dehydrate in the day.
Definitely the lemon thing is important to add. We'll check that out and see next chapter how it goes.
Yeah, so you had your glass of lemon and you had your breakfast, avocado with cocoa, and now it's time to get to work.
Commute.
So, number 4, you say, let's see here, quote that correctly, get off your transit method 3 blocks away from work or school or whatever. Yeah.
What are the benefits of that? What are we looking at? What are we looking at there?
I think it's twofold. I use transit method because you can do it whether you have a car, whether you're riding the bus, whether you're riding the U-Bahn. And in Berlin, it's also easy because U-Bahn and S-Bahn, the stations aren't so far apart. If I grew up in DC, if you say get off your train station the one before, you'd be walking for hours maybe. But here it's completely doable. And in most cities it is. So getting fresh air this time of year is something that all of us are not getting enough of because it's so cold out. It's bitter and you are freezing by the time you get anywhere, whether you get off three transit stops before or not. And getting off your bus or you're parking your car 3 blocks away or getting off the S-Bahn a block away.
I think it's a mindset thing also. So I did this in our nutrition challenge this year, the beginning of this year. So that was one of the assignments for the week, for one of the weeks was that, okay, try to park further away, walk more, just integrate that more. And it just changes your mindset. So if you find a parking lot that is 2 blocks away, then just embrace it. Say, wow, nice, I'm gonna have a walk, instead of I have to have a walk. So it's
it's a mindset at the end.
But it also it's the fresh air because we also all, if you're working in an office, there's a good chance that there's some nice toxic carpets that are lining the floors and some really not great furniture, so emitting some chemicals into the air that aren't great for us to be breathing in, and the windows aren't open because it's not summer. So getting some fresh air is really important. And
even though it's dark, it's gray, you get some UV, right? Some
vitamin D.
Exactly.
On the 3 square millimeters that are exposed to the sun, the outside.
The nose is a big receptor of D vitamins. So it's good.
This is also one reason why I sometimes embrace to be okay, I'm just gonna take off, go on the balcony and just be in my t-shirt for 5 minutes. And just embrace the cold.
The Iceman.
The Iceman, the
Hoffman.
All right. And you're at office and you get those sugar cravings.
You haven't drank your water, lemon water, so you have the sugar cravings now.
So tip number 5.
Tip number 5.
How do you handle your sugar cravings in the afternoon?
So a great way to handle the sugar cravings is to ask yourself, am I thirsty? Because dehydration is a big thing that can also cause the body to think, time for some sugar. But it's just that you're dehydrated. And if you have hydrated, then tea is a really great way to curb those cravings. Because
and why tea?
Tea is, it's for people who are addicted to caffeine. Maybe it's a nice little way to ease yourself off of the caffeine in the afternoon as well, because it's the duality of the coffee and the sugar that most people are accustomed to in the afternoon. And especially at the office in the winter, you go and there's always a plate of cookies or something Christmas related sitting out there to accompany the coffee. So the jolt of caffeine plus the nice little jolt of sugar is what many people rely on to get through the afternoon. And tea can, especially fennel tea, also has a very nice sweet taste, so it can hit that sweet craving without having any sugar in it. And lemon water can also help to curb a bit of those cravings because it hits you with a different palate in the mouth as well.
Okay, you kind of answered that then, because if you're not a big tea fan, as I am. I never understood tea really. But yeah, then it's the glass of lemon juice again.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Lemon water.
Or
lemon water.
heißt es Tone ist auch. That's kind of
Yeah.
tea, I guess, but it
With,
helps with that.
with ingwer.
Yeah.
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 Ginger.
Ginger, also really good for the immune system, really good for the digestive system, and a really warming in Ayurveda. It's a really warming spice. So using spices like cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger, more Indian type spices are really warming this time of year that help curb
now that
cravings.
you said, you talk a little bit about coffee, afternoon coffee, and how does affect directly the quality of sleep we have.
Yeah.
So what would you say is a good limit to our caffeine intake? Because, okay, when should we be switching into tea? Is it okay to drink a coffee at 6 p.m.?
I think
I know it's personal, but what
Yeah.
would be your recommendation for it?
Personally, I think you need to experiment. Like you said, everybody's individual, but the general rule is it takes about 6 hours for your body to completely metabolize caffeine. Some people, like me, are more on the 10-hour spectrum. So depending on what time you want to get to bed, you time that accordingly. So for most people, if you're trying to get to bed at about 10 o'clock is, in bed rather
Just
than
after
asleep.
lunch and
But,
that's it. Yeah.
so after, 3, 4 p.m., it's generally a good cutoff point.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I usually don't have a problem with drinking espresso or strong coffee in the evening and fall asleep, but I'm still convinced that it's a bad idea for your sleep quality.
Yeah.
So you might be able to fall asleep, but probably that sleep is not going to be that good.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, same thing with alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. So
But alcohol knocks you down.
yeah,
Makes you fall asleep.
yeah. So let's move on on the list. We're down at number 6, and we're here at dinner. And what should you do before eating dinner?
So when you're especially when you're in this season, and if you're eating with family or friends and it's an event and you're a little bit stressed out, or your head's in a different place, you're in a sympathetic nervous system state, and that means your digestive system, if you eat, is not going to process the food properly. So you're going to have digestive upset, especially if you're also eating then foods you're not used to. But these tips apply also when you're just sitting down and eating by yourself dinner. Is drinking a glass of water before you start. And then also before you start, taking 6 deep breaths. Almost like a mini meditation, but just taking a pause, and maybe in those 6 deep breaths thinking about also gratitude for what you have, and taking just a little bit of a step back and pausing.
I'm thinking of this next dinner gathering somewhere, maybe here in the box, I don't know. Everyone listen to this podcast, and before eating, everyone just disappears. Everyone is standing there with the eyes closed and breathing.
We're going to try that next week.
What?
8:30.
Somebody comes in like,
What is this guy doing?
room of zombies here.
But yeah, it's been actually the 6 is the magic number. That it was a Japanese study that showed that 6 diaphragm breaths through the diaphragm, deep breaths.
So you didn't just make that up.
I didn't just make that up. I didn't just like the number 6. I would actually prefer 5 because it's a nicer number. But 6 breaths is what it takes to take you from that.
I would try the Japanese. Yeah, definitely trust us that.
Tabata,
Yeah.
6 breaths.
It's the 6 breaths that takes you from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
parasympathetic.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, and now we are middle of the dinner, and it's this point 7. I can't show this with one hand. So, if you're not eating with your hands, you're eating with cutlery. What are you doing during dinner?
So putting down your fork between bites is a really good way to also just slow yourself down and make yourself a little bit more conscious. It's kind of one of the lessons of meditation, but it's being present and enjoying what's going on, because we get into a state where we're talking with other people, there's a lot going on, and we're just scoffing down the lovely food, or maybe it's not so great, but in any case, taking a pause and really enjoying each bite.
But I have to jump in there, and I have to say, the dinners where I had like the best conversations are the dinners where I ate the least stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's usually these dinners are, especially when it comes to Christmas time, you are in these situations where you're like sitting with dinner tenants that you're maybe not that keen to talking to. And you're trying to open up some discussions, and like, oh man,
they don't work. You just
yeah. I'm not so much into Trump as this guy. So
we can't get started on that.
So,
yeah, nice Christmas topic on the table.
Yeah, but otherwise, my point is, you should try to open up discussions, I think, and open up.
I mean, it's Christmas. It's a family, friends sharing. Share with people more than we share. I would say more than you can share with your food.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I think it's more about. I mean, what you said. I think it's very important what you said. Being mindful about the process. Enjoy the moment. Be aware of what you're eating. Be aware. I mean, I guess that's a lesson that can adjust to every time. Many times we just go through food because we have things to do. Enjoy the food. Enjoy that moment. Taste that or whatever. Even if it's, I don't know, lettuce, salad.
Yeah. And for sweets, I had an extra thing in there.
Yeah.
That is, it takes 3 bites to get to the, let's see, that on a graph it would be the maximum taste profile of anything, and then after 3 bites the taste gets a little bit less good as the first 3 bites. So when you're eating a piece of cake or something really, really nice, something special, go ahead and indulge. It's the Christmas season, but take 3 bites and then put your fork down, and if you want 3 more, then okay, but just make sure that
have a glass of water before that.
Yeah.
And be aware that those second 3 won't feel as good as the first 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like riding the roller coaster. First 3 times is the best, and then
it's a very interesting book about that. That talks a lot about that. It's the Hacking of the American Mind, and explains the whole process of that. Yeah. Very interesting.
And yeah, after dinner, it's time to get home, and we already talked about how you can wind down and so on, and that kind of leads us to number 8. You say tech-free time. What the heck? How are people supposed to look at this or listen to this?
Yeah. Hopefully you're not watching this in your room.
Yeah.
Your bedroom.
Hopefully not.
Maybe it's the wind down time.
Yeah, exactly. It could be.
So I think another thing that sometimes it's a very new phenomenon, but the family and the friends aspect of this season gets a little bit maybe lost, as it does in our everyday lives, but especially in this time when we have usually more access to, we travel for friends and family, we spend time at Christmas dinners with friends and family, and then sometimes you'll be at a gathering and half the people are pulling out their phones and sitting there with their phone. And it's another aspect of the enjoying the present moment and engaging with what's happening now and appreciating what you have.
That could seriously create a lot of dramas in a lot of families, I guess. But one tip from me would be when you have this the family Christmas gathering, that you imply the rule that you say, no, everyone has to put their mobile phone in this box.
Yeah.
For the entire evening.
Yeah.
It's people will suffer. But I think that's necessarily suffering.
There's one also pretty good way to do it. If you go to a restaurant with friends, family or friends, everybody puts phone in the middle of the table.
Yeah, my friends and I did that
often. And the first person that picks up his phone pays the tab.
Yeah. It worked really well.
Rule the games. Nobody wants to pick up the phone. So if you pick up the phone, be aware of the consequences of it.
Yeah. So I think just scheduling, being mindful of it, and saying, okay, I'm meeting for coffee with my friend. I'm gonna leave my phone in my bag next to me.
Don't put it on the table.
Yeah.
Like even upside down.
Yeah. Turn off the ringer.
I don't know where.
Leave it at home.
I don't even know where I read that, but this thing with, you put your phone on the table, even like upside down, you're still telling the world that like I'm
There's a talk from what's the name of this guy? Not very famous now.
Simon,
yeah, exactly.
Sinek, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah, you're giving a signal that you're not as important as the phone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's true. Totally true.
Yeah. And it increases anxiety. I think most of us are, we're always thinking about, I wonder if someone's texted me. I wonder if I've gotten notifications if the phone isn't in the room. And they did a couple studies that even if the phone was in the room next door, you're still thinking about it. And you need to have a certain amount of distance before you disconnect, really. So leaving it at home is also a great idea.
As you put it on the blog, the world's not going to collapse in 6 hours without your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not much is going to happen. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
So be aware that it's fine to let go of your technology for a while.
Yeah.
I still have to think about Elon Musk, because he talked about this, how the mobile phone is kind of this new way of us, we're speeding up the transmission rate of ideas and whatever, and by having that on the phone, we can do it on like very far distances. So we're starting to, getting more and more ourselves up into the cloud. Right now, the data rate is just so low, so it's not that strong, or fast, but still, we are kind of interconnected now constantly. Even though the bit rate is not that high, but as soon as we start to, we'll be able to plug in our brains straight to the cloud.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna get, very brutal, I guess. But yeah, let's go to the next one. You got home from the dinner. You had your tech-free time. And point number 9, now it's time to go to the party.
Go to the party.
After the dinner.
How do we do to just avoid such a huge amount of alcohol?
Yeah.
So actually, you reminded me of this the other day, and I'd been doing it for a while, but when you go to a party and you don't want to drink, I don't drink most of the time because I'm so sensitive to it and I feel terrible afterwards. And so, I ask for a glass of sparkling water, and you can put a lime in it and it looks like a gin and tonic, and nobody will ask you questions, because there's always, if you don't have anything in your hands, there's always people that are going to be asking you, oh, don't you want to drink? Why aren't you drinking? Like,
I'm on drugs. I use pills.
No hangover.
But to have that burden taken off, that you can just know, okay, enjoy your glass of water. It's maybe you do have one alcoholic beverage a week. Decide on how much is your limit, but then afterwards hold to your standards and hold yourself accountable, but also you owe it to yourself to, the next morning you're going to feel better if you only have one drink.
Other good point is, and this is something I follow when days of no one going to drink, let's say a wedding or something like that, is always have a glass of water in between drinks.
Yeah.
So you have a beer, you have a glass of wine, whatever you have, glass of water in between. Helps a bit, and definitely reduces the amount of alcohol, and definitely reduces the hangover the next day.
Yeah.
So that's also another option.
For sure.
Yeah, I have to think back a couple of years when I.
This is me way back when
I had.
Germany never knew me like this.
This crazy period. I did 30 days without alcohol, which was at that time a point it was like
mind-blowing.
Like people were like, what are you talking about? 30 days, how do you do that?
AA now?
Yeah, I was like, whoa. But yeah, still I tried to be social. I tried to go to all the parties and everything, because I still wanted to be kind of connected. And yeah, most people were somehow students or something. So yeah, it was always these VG parties here in Berlin. And but yeah, I ended up drinking a lot of Club Mate, which is this tea drink here, but the Berliners always have this tea together with vodka, right? That's a classical thing in the clubs, or even at parties. You have this soda or this tea that you're drinking, and yeah, people just assume you're drinking vodka. So that was like my hack. And it's fairly low sugar, so it was not the worst thing to drink in the night, but yeah, high on caffeine, so
not great for the
good luck with.
So yeah, but still, I mean, at that point you went to bed at 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m, so that caffeine also helped a lot. But yeah, that was just a thing that came to mind. So drink that if you're a party student and need to get some time off alcohol.
Yeah. Or the new thing we have here, kombucha.
Kombucha, yeah.
Also
kombucha.
helps.
Yeah, with gin, I heard this. I heard it. Yeah, no, I'm not a big gin fan, but yeah. The next point, number 10, which I like the most, make a commitment to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that we all fall down on this time of year.
Yeah.
But my strategy is outsourcing my willpower, which is also a Tim Ferriss pickup. But, you can outsource a lot of stuff, including your willpower. So if you sign up for a class and you're like here at Escapist now, you can't cancel right like 2 minutes before you get to the class. Sign up, and you have theoretically paid, or wherever you go, you pay for a class, you sign up for something with a friend, you make a date with a friend in advance, maybe on a regular basis, say every 2 days or every Friday or something. We go to the gym together, or I'm going to go to CrossFit on Monday and Wednesday and Friday morning. And you sign up for all of those in advance, and then it makes a decision for you. You wake up on Monday morning, you're like, I don't feel like going to CrossFit, but you
don't want to let your friend down. So
you don't want to let your friend down. You've already paid for the class. That's money that you're throwing away, and a lot of people don't even think about that. But if you consciously say, okay, it's like $20 or something for a yoga class or whatever you like to do.
And this is something also that's very important. Also the fact that we all know that the hardest moment is when you get out of bed at the start. Once it's over, you will never regret a workout. Yeah. And that's something that's doesn't matter how tired you are or things you have to do, you will never regret a workout. It's great when it's done, check, feel way better, energized and ready to go.
Yeah, this is something we
constantly
we constantly tell each other. I ask Gerardo, are you going to train? He's like, I have time, and then it's like, will you regret it tomorrow? Like,
let's go.
No,
that's it. Always, you will never regret it. So get up, just do it, ready to go, ready to kick ass during the day. Yeah,
I mean, and I think that comes to like training and to waking up early. What I've discovered is like if I wake up early, I will never regret going up early, but I always regret if I go up late.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
If you can do that.
Except when you're sick.
Yeah. One thing I like maybe for December is to have like a regular challenge, like a daily challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So we had like this kettlebell challenge this month, me and Gerardo, where we do swings and front squats every day, or we try to, and we have a list where we have to tick that in, so it's visual.
It's over there.
Yeah, you can even see it there. Yeah, and then we have now I have December coming up, so maybe we have to figure out a new one. And one thing I had for New Year's that I did last year was 1,000 burpees as a challenge.
Not in a day though.
In the day.
Yeah.
In one day?
No, no, in one go. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How long did it take you?
Like 6 hours.
No, it took me like 2.5 or 3 hours with putting 2 kids and a wife to bed during that time. So I did 500 burpees in my apartment and 500 burpees in the basement. Well, because
of the jumping on the...
Yeah, so I thought maybe the neighbors need to get... After 9 p.m.
What is this guy doing?
And it was after eating dinner and having 2 beers and a glass of lemon water. No.
Let's get started.
Okay. We have 2 bonuses. Number 11, which is...
Hide your sweets. So I think we all get accustomed to everything that we do in our daily lives, in our routines, and one of those is we know exactly where we hide the chocolate, we know exactly where we put the cookies, and putting them a little bit in a different spot, making it a little bit more effort to go and get your chocolate or get your sweets or get whatever it is your vice is, makes you pause and wonder, do I really want to put the effort in?
So this is as some of you might know, my fridge broke down a couple of weeks ago already. And since the fridge is not working, all our frozen food, everything has to be cold, is on the terrace, it's on the balcony. So it really makes you, I mean, I still open, as stupid it sounds, I open the fridge probably 5 times a day, and just knowing that it's off, there's nothing inside, just like a reflex. And if there was food inside, I would just pick something and eat it. Now there is not, it's like, am I really hungry to go outside and freeze myself to death just for fruit? I don't, so I just don't eat. It's amazing the change that small thing makes.
Yeah.
Just not be, how many times we eat just because it's a reflex and it's not because we're hungry.
Yeah.
It's just,
for sure.
Yeah, availability of food.
Yeah, the constant availability. And I noticed, like, when we did the nutrition challenge this fall, I had no problems having snacks around and everything, because I'm so into the challenge. So I don't care if it's a beer there, I don't care anything about cookies or bread, or it's very easy for me to say no in that mindset. After the challenge, like, my mom comes for a visit and she brings
back to square one.
Like, I don't know, all the different breads from Sweden I haven't had for months, and sweets and whatever, and it's like, then you see those in the cabinet all the time, and it's like,
when it's open, you have to, once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely super hard. And I mean, that's also one of the tricks I tell people during, like, when we start these challenges, is that first thing you have to do is just
clean the kitchen,
clean out, and give it away. Don't have it.
Bring
around.
it to the office. Let some other people eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But talking about willpower, let's move on to the last point, number 12, which is meditation, right?
Yeah. So I think for me personally, but I've also talked a lot about it to friends, and have gotten a couple of them, not on purpose, but because they hear me talking about it, to start a meditation practice. And it really makes a huge difference for me, for a wind down perspective, but also a self-awareness perspective. In the evening is when I do it, but most people prefer to do it in the morning, so whenever works for you. And another way that you can also make it easier is do it through these apps, and it's no effort. You download a free app. Headspace and Calm are my favorites. The one that's also called Oak is also great.
A lot of people say, I don't have time for that. How long does it take?
There's ones on Calm that are 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but also there's a quote that is like, if you don't have 10 minutes to meditate, you need 3 hours to meditate, because that means you are so wrapped up in everything that you think is so important that you don't have 10 minutes to calm down and be with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I've used Headspace, and like very shortly. This is over 2 years ago, but I still use those practices sometimes, and it really gives me a perspective of handling thoughts and so on. But also now Sam Harris released his app, which is also
it's
great.
good.
And he has a lot of more. He has like these lectures about meditation too, which also has been really like opening up my mind when it comes to meditation, because I always, and I still think meditation has this kind of dirty connection,
Woo-woo.
yeah, with as fitness does. Somehow it's like, oh, not more of
these
this.
guys again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I have to dress out like a hippie too,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
no, but still, and I think people generally think like, yeah, they've seen, they heard Tim Ferriss, Tony Robbins, and all these guys talking about meditation, and it's like, but yeah, it's I think people need to have the perspective of what meditation is, and it's not a hacking tool. It's not.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you're gonna open up your mind and you're gonna be able to be this kung fu guy
have an
in your thoughts.
epiphany and
Yeah, exactly.
Change the world. No, it's just about kind of having more grip of yourself. So it's kind of, I think this is also very personal for everyone, individual, how they relate to it and how it affects them and so on. But I think statistics are quite clear. People that meditate are more happy.
Yeah. Maybe because they slow down and are taking the time to recognize how much they have. And
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So great, Claire. This was a nice format. I think we have these talks anyways, and
Yeah.
why not?
First time we recorded, but we have it this all every day.
Yeah, we have this every day, guys. And also, I know most guys out there also have them at the office and whatever. So, but yeah, I hope this inspired some people to think about something and
Follow this advice. All the advice is gonna be on the blog post.
Yeah, on the blog. We're gonna share them on Instagram,
Facebook, all the channels.
Yeah, Snapchat. No, we don't have that.
Snapchat.
I don't know how that works.
We're too old for that. Claire, you have to take care of that.
I'm also too old for that.
my son to it.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for tuning in. We talk and speak to you next time. Let us know what you thought and subscribe to our channels on all the different platforms. Bye.
Ciao.